pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, thanks for everybody for being here for the Monday, October 27th, 2025 regular school board meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
D'Angelo Steele.
Here.
Ms. Liskini.
Here.
Mr. Martindale.
Here.
Ms. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the agenda for the October 27th, 2025 regular meeting of the school board. Can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Martindale. Can I get a second?
Second, Liskini.
Thank you, Mrs. Liskini. Any additions to that? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Moving on, it's recommended the Board of Education approve the meeting from the minutes of October 13th, 2025 of the regular school board meeting. Can I get a motion to move that forward?
D'Angelo Steele.
Thank you so much. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Martindale. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. We're going to start out our meeting with a presentation from School Spotlight with the principal of Darby Woods Elementary, Mr. Brian Novar.
President Bosso, Vice President D'Angelo Steele, members of the board, Mr. Banks, Mr. Garside. Hello, my name is Brian Novar. I'm the principal at Darby Woods Elementary School, and tonight I have the honor of telling you about some of the great things that's happening at our school. As student achievement continues to be our school's priority, we invested a lot of attention recently in several underlying areas that serve as a foundation for which learning builds upon. This includes routinely conducting safety drills and directly leading conversations proactively with all of our students about common area expectations and topics related to bullying, school safety, and minimizing distractions. In fact, later this week, we're scheduled to practice a lockdown scenario where we'll rehearse how we would evacuate all of our students to Westland High School in an emergency. We've also refined our processes for collecting and analyzing some school data related to things like behavior disruptions and to reporting safety concerns. Last year, we looked at our processes for student attendance. Through some intentional practices, we were able to meet our goal and reduce unexcused absences. We met all of our continuous improvement plan goals in the areas of literacy and math. We met both of those goals last year. Our literacy goal was focused on implementation of a range of different assessments within the new HMH curriculum. And our math goal was related to introducing students to some mathematical assessments related to depth of knowledge levels 2 and 3, so more with applying skills and concepts, and then application of practices and using strategic thinking. Teachers participate routinely in professional learning circles. We call them PIC meetings here. Really, it's job-embedded professional development that's aimed at examining data and making instructional decisions while bolstering the methods in which we teach the curriculum. I've been so impressed with our staff for their dedication to this time and their investment. The way that they prioritize this time and then take the concepts that we're learning about in these PIC meetings and quickly turn them into and implement them into work with the students. Our coaches, on this note, have been instrumental in leading some of this work we've done in professional development alongside Jackie Wisman and the rest of the curriculum department. They've done some extraordinary things investing in this time. And I'm pleased to share that we've expanded our PIC days this year to also include math. So we'll do a few days with literacy and with math this year with the staff. In regards to our most recent state report card, I couldn't be more proud of the staff and the students for their hard work that's reflected in this 4-star rating. The area of progress continues to be an area that our staff really sees as a source of pride. They've really embodied the mindset that we accept all students with whatever they come to us with and whatever circumstances they've experienced, and we're going to move them forward. In fact, I'd say that's even part of my own personal philosophy in education. It could be boiled down to simply say our purpose is to move kids forward and provide some meaningful school experiences. Finally, I'd also like to praise the staff for the work that they took to raise our early literacy rating from a 2-star to a 3-star rating on this latest report card. So some good things happening there. Next, I'd like to tell you about some of the meaningful ways we're connecting with our families. Over the course of the school year, we provide numerous opportunities for parents to engage with us, sometimes in ways that are very much oriented to the curriculum, such as our multicultural events and our One School, One Book program, as well as some opportunities that may not be all about math and reading, but they're still important to us, such as when we honor our veterans at our Veterans Day Assembly, and even some of our more fun events, like McTeacher's Night or Family Game Night. They go a long way, though, towards building the type of strong community that we've established here at the school. And then finally, I shared some images that help introduce you to the school culture at Darby Woods. We introduced students to the DWA, which is our 4 building-wide expectations. Every morning, we say the Pledge of Allegiance and the Cougar Cub Pledge. Students are given Good Choice Awards as a way to recognize positive choices throughout the day, and we hold virtue assemblies every 6 weeks. In fact, this year, we shifted the focus of these assemblies to better reflect our 3 core values: having a safe environment, being prepared for the future, and showing the love of learning. Our culture is further rooted in the many events that our community has embraced and looked forward to each and every year. Things like Trick or Treat event that we had last week, or school dances and multicultural night. We also try to build a lot of fun events like Cub Club, which recognizes students for good citizenship. In fact, last month, we were treated to a special performance by the Westland High School Marching Band at their football stadium. Our partnership with Westland is another aspect of our school culture that I'm most proud of. However, I believe that at our core, it's our consistent broadcasting of a message of love, respect, and caring by our unbelievable and dedicated school staff that establishes the bedrock of our school culture. Folks, that's everything that I've planned to share with you tonight about Darby Woods. Are there any questions that I can answer?
That is the math camp, right? What was the picture of the tents, the math camp?
That's our math camp done annually.
Yes, I attended the math camp last year. Absolutely loved it. Literally, you walk through the building for the day, and there's classrooms, and you literally feel like you are on a campground. And every classroom has a different station of the camp. And the way they decorate those classrooms and incorporate it into the math and learning. I even helped work a station. I was impressed. My math was not bad. And I learned a few things from the kids. But that was the most amazing event ever to see and to be a part of. But like literally the building was turned into a camp. And they went all out decorating.
Thank you for that feedback too.
You're welcome.
We love it. The kids love the event as well. And it's great to bring in a lot of members from the community to help volunteer for that one as well.
Yes.
You know, Brian, whenever I come over there, just your engagement with the kids, I mean, you're out on recess with them and everything. And I know it takes all your staff, but they need a leader, and you're the leader, and things you're doing over there as far as the chronic absentee stuff. I mean, we're working across the whole district on that, but just getting families involved is so important to get these kids engaged. And I just thank you. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to do this kind of work. It's very fulfilling. I love the families that we work with.
Thank you, Mr. Novar, for coming. I love visiting your school. I love your monthly newsletters too. I always give shout outs on the things that you're doing and little things that you might need, like your crossing guard and, you know, things like that. But you're doing amazing things there, and I love to visit. I'm wondering if you could share just a little bit the increase in your literacy and math goals that you've met what set you guys apart and how did you do that? How did you achieve that?
Well, for the last year's continuous improvement plan, we really try to focus in on some adult implementation goals. So a little bit of it was just kind of shifting our perspective. And part of the reason for this, with regards to the literacy, part of it is because we were starting a new curriculum with HMH. And really what we wanted to do is become well versed in the amount of assessments. And the curriculum is very deep. And there's a lot of there's a lot of different aspects to it to become familiar with. So really what we wanted to do was immerse ourselves as learners and gain some familiarity with it. And then from that, now we have a better handle and understanding on which sort of assessments will give us useful and impactful data that we can use and kind of hone in on for this school year. And then the math goal, our focus with that really is we just realized we really need to do more with asking students to do more with applying skills and concepts. And this was evident through some of our iReady data as well as our state report card data. So again, a great place to start with this is just making sure that it's routinely being introduced to students over the course of the units, and then working with the staff to make sure that there's some common language and commonality in how this was being rolled out. But the discussions that we had in our grade level meetings was really rich and thoughtful, purposeful. We gained a lot from doing that. And I think our students also were the primary beneficiaries of this sort of work.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I can't believe it's been a year already since we did the Santa shop, right? What do you call your
Yep, the holiday shop.
holiday shop? Yes, you guys gonna do that again this December?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And the students came over from Westland to help out and do things. It was a really great experience. So hopefully you find that sign up sheet again and hopefully see us again for that. That was really fun to do. So you have a great group over there.
Absolutely. I'll be sure that it goes your
Yep.
direction.
Yep, let us know. It was fun. I love it. I miss it. The older kids don't do that anymore. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
Brian, thank you so much. We're going to move on now to goal updates, and we're going to have safety and human resources with Dr. Jamie Lesher and Mr. Matt Jordan.
Good evening, President Boso, Vice President D'Angelo Steele, members of the board, Mr. Banks, Mr. Garside. Thank you for having me this evening. As you recall, in February, hard to believe, we set priorities at a visioning session. And then we've iteratively updated you on each one of those focus areas. Tonight, as mentioned, we are going to do an update for safety and human resources. And believe it or not, this will be the fourth time we've had this discussion to give you some clear data and some measurable goals that have been impacted through actionable steps. So if we go to the next slide, please. So there are 6 priorities. The first we're going to discuss is safety. And at the end of the day, just like you heard one of our wonderful building leaders talk about, the most important thing that we can do is maintain the integrity of learning. The way we view it is this: if learning is the constant and everything else is the variable, what systems, protocols, processes, both proactively and reactively, can we put in place to make sure that learning is happening every day for our students? Next slide, please. So the 3 C's we talk about are clarity. And are we clear on what we want to do and how to do it? Consistency, is consistently happening in our buildings. And then do we have that calibration across buildings, developmental age groups, and beyond? When we look at all 35 of our sites, this is what we focus on. Next slide, please. So as we look at where we are today, I'm happy to say that we had a Safety Preparedness Action Day on September 12th. Every single building was engaged in training. Those trainings included not only evacuations on-site and off-site, tornado and fire drills, as well as a review of our stay put, secure perimeter, and lockdown procedures. We completed drill logs. We also made sure that we reviewed and captured feedback. And then we got actually data about the enhancements that need to continue to be made in terms of technology, facilities, and then overall protocols. We have an example too of some of the training videos that we're using to work with our students. So as you know, we are now the 21st largest employer in all Franklin County, and we have 21,000 students. And so on a given day, a staff member might be absent, a student might be absent. We have to onboard staff members continually. When you look at the number of personnel items we have, it's a lot. So I want to show you a clip of a video. And this is obviously a focus point this month is School Safety Preparedness Month in October. And this is a video that our communications department has put together for us. And we have a repository of these that are available on our intranet for our safety website that our staff members can access at any time and that we are putting in place as part of building staff meetings as well as administrative council and our extended cabinet.
Hi students, I'm Miss LaDonna. I'm a route supervisor at Southwestern City Schools Transportation Services. Today we're going to talk about bus safety when it comes to an evacuation procedure that you may have to do on a bus. We're going to talk about 3 types of emergency evacuation drills. You have a rear door, a front door, and a split. The split could be anywhere in the bus. It does not actually mean it's in the middle of the bus. So for the back door, as you're getting out of the back door, you do not want to jump and risk to hurt yourself. You want to sit down, and then those door helpers are going to help you out. So the zigzag method is you've got students on both sides. So usually if it's the back door, the closest seat that's at the back door, those students are going to get off the bus first this way, and then the ones across the seats will go across the aisle. So, and it just goes zigzag like this. If the doors are blocked and you can't get out, then you would use the roof hatches for that. When you do this, you're going to push up. You turn the knob, and then you push up like that. Same way with the emergency exit windows. You're going to pull up and push out, and you hear the buzzer sound. The lights will come on. In this bulkhead, we have emergency equipment that may need to be used. We have a first aid kit, a body fluid kit, a fire extinguisher. So the most important things that you guys should know is to stay calm and also to listen to your driver, because your driver is going to help you out.
So as we look at the enhancements, we're looking at this like good instruction, right? Repeated exposure to instruction and training and opportunity for students, for staff to familiarize themselves with the content so that in the event of an emergency, they are prepared, they're ready, they know what to do. And if we have staff turnover, we have access to all of these trainings so we don't miss anything. So that's that calibration piece. When we look at consistency, we're going to continue to build this repository. So thus far, we have this secure perimeter, our lockdown mechanism, as well as tornado, fire drill. And I think Mr. Novar's building was used for our tornado drill. So we've got there too, I believe it was. So long story short there, those training videos, very important to make sure that our students know exactly what to do, that they're calm, and that our staff are equipped to handle emergencies in not only a preventative way, but a calm way where they truly feel like they are in command of the situation. We believe in site-based leadership, but also we need that consistency across our sites. Additionally, we have completed our emergency management test, which we're required to do each year. On the next slide, I believe, well, maybe 2 slides. Wait, go ahead, the next one. This is our intranet. This is where our staff resource page. These are live links. And for any of the trainings, any of the protocols, any of the information that we cover in staff meetings, or just a matter of that scope and sequence we have as we hit all those important safety topics, that is available to staff. The MERP app, this is where on your phone, our building leaders have access to their emergency management plans. So in a given setting, if we have an emergency, they are able to collaborate and work with our wonderful law enforcement, our EMTs, and all those folks that wrap around those times when we need to pull on the rope together. So that is available there. You'll see we have, go back please. We have links to the safety planning action step timeline, and this is a month-by-month scope and sequence for our building leaders, because for our building leaders to lead effectively, we have to have those structures in place so they have peace of mind that if and when something happens, they know exactly what to do. And so that year-long scope and sequence helps make sure that we have those, the lower bars of making sure that every fire drill is documented, every tornado drill is documented, and that our students and staff can effectively toggle between any of the emergency protocols that we have in place. Additionally, I did include that emergency response training video for you if you'd like to see that. So that's the instructional piece for our students, but also a good refresher for all of our staff that may be a part of our work. Next slide, please. And then this is actually a picture. You can see Lieutenant Stern, fresh from surgery there, I had some shoulder issues, but he was at our administrative council on October 21st. So if you recall, in the spring, we conducted a safety audit for all of our sites and partnered with local law enforcement. He was there helping us facilitate with our leadership team the actual criteria that law enforcement use when they do an audit of our schools. to include technology, to include facilities, to include preventative protocols, and that just overall emergency response process that we have throughout the district. So every one of our sites did that. We've captured that data, and now we're looking at that data to make sure that we, just like good formative assessment, we're able to guide instruction, resources, and leverage all of our collective work to make sure that we're hitting those priorities. Next slide, please. Also, October 15th, we had a transportation safety training. This was really around a de-escalation, the what ifs, you have a stranger that boards the bus, if there's a conflict or a fight on the bus. So that happened. In addition, we recorded that to make sure that anybody that might be absent, they have access to that content, synchronously or asynchronously. We want them to have that. And then on November 19th, we will be collaborating with a whole host of folks, to include Grove City, TOSA, Mount Carmel Health, Forge Biologics, and we will be doing an active shooter tabletop exercise. We'll actually be at the Boso Pavilion working with first responders to go through that process, and that will prime us for any drill work we do in the spring across all of our facilities. I think that was it. Okay. So that was safety. So I'm happy to answer any questions about safety, and then if something marinates after Matt talks, we can ask any others, but any additional information or questions you might have at this time?
I just want to say, I like the fact that it was familiar faces in the training videos, because that's helpful when you have a training video being done and it's using faces that are within our district. And so I love that aspect when I had a chance to take a look at the videos. As far as safety, it's more so a board question than a Dr. Lusher question. My question now becomes before the board is, do we still want or are asking the superintendent to get quotes on a safety audit, since that was a motion that was brought forward in the past meeting? Say that one more time.
We can address that during discussion if you'd like.
And I think, is it part of our executive session today to speak on safety, or?
Part of it.
I'm just asking because it was brought forward as a motion in front of the public. So
the discussion should be.
that's why I was asking.
No, I think it's a valid question. I think it's valid, and I do appreciate it. I do appreciate I don't know if this is I'm gonna stop your presentation or stop Jordan from his next thing, but I do know that I'm very thankful that after I did ask for more information from the last that meeting, I am happy to receive information that what the district had back in March, and so we were given that information, and I found that very helpful. I'm not sure why we didn't receive that sooner than we did. So there was some, a little bit of miscommunication, some errors, and and now having that information really helped a lot. I think that once we kind of go through some more things and kind of go through the audit in more detail, I think I'd be able to answer that on my part. I think there's still a lot to go through. I do know that with the research that I've done when it comes to audits and things, there's still a few questions I'd like to ask in executive session or privately, because that's how safety is, unfortunately, right? Or fortunately, like there are just some things that can't be fully shared. So I think it's a valid question, and I do, again, after I think we all received that confidential email about the safety audit that was done and that they've had since March. And I think also, did that help you, Ms. Peterson, after having that? And help answer more questions. Yeah, and so that was really great.
I know about the audit.
Yes. And I do know, Mr. Banks has kind of mentioned some other options besides doing an audit, right, Mr. Banks? There's some things that can be talked about. So yeah, I'm open. I guess I don't want to lead the conversation, but since I kind of did bring that up, I am always open to whatever improvements there are. And like I said, I think knowledge leads to improvements, and the more we have, the better it's going to be. So I love hearing about this, and it's one of those things where, always want to see more. And I hope all my kids that ride buses have seen these videos. I'm not sure if it's a K through 12 situation where these are being shared, but, my kids come home and say, we did this today, or something happened. I was like, good, well, what'd you experience or what'd you do? And, do you want to share anything with the principal? Like, cause you can, like, how did you experience it? So, but no, and I do, and these updates are amazing. I never know when they're going to happen before they do, but I think they're always in Jesus.
If I could just speak to two things, because I think it is, security is a bit delicate when you talk about it, right? Because you don't want to put floor plans of buildings and some of those things that, obviously are what would be more internal documents, right, for the world at large to see. But I think the other piece is we look at even like the training videos. It's really hard to find a broad utility, what works for a preschooler versus a high schooler. And so that's the piece where as we work with our site-based leaders, we're thinking about, what they're posting in middle school and what's being digitally well and okay in cyberspace versus, how do we keep our hands to ourselves and have a safe learning environment if you're in the early learning stages. So I think that piece is we come back to that unification of purpose under that goal. And then we keep those 3 C's in mind that it really does help us with that calibration while still honoring where students are developmentally, because the worst thing to do is to scare them. We want them to be calm, we want them to feel safe and secure, and we want them to have those relationships with trusted adults. So I'm glad that you mentioned the familiar faces, because if you've looked at any of the training videos that you can just buy kind of canned, they're frightening for kids, or they can feel intimidating or just kind of like AI crafted them. So although it's taking some time, I think that we'll have a better quality for our students, and then ultimately they'll see those faces, it will mean more. And I think also leaving opportunity for feedback. We're never finished. This work is ongoing, and once you know better, you do better, right? And so that really is our mantra and our goal. So
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say on behalf of every parent, thank you for taking security so seriously and being so diligent at looking at things on a continual basis. You just hit it. It is never complete. This is always something that we have to continue to look at, and it really means a lot to me as a parent. I'm sure to every other parent, but that's top priority, and that you guys are really actively continuing to watch things and then improving on our already really great processes that we have.
Well, thank you. And I think that is one thing, as a professional, as a parent, and just in the field of education, keeping our kids safe has to be one thing we can all agree about, right? So I think that's really important. So I appreciate the time to share. But Matt, you're going to have to go very quickly. And you're happy to answer more questions later. So sure.
Thank you, Dr. Lesher. I think next time I go first. But it's interesting with both safety and human resources the same night, and obviously that conversation right there, safety never ends. Always talking about, well, neither does recruiting, neither does hiring the right people, getting the right people on the bus, do the right things for the district, and take care of our people on all those sort of items. They got candy in the back. Yeah.
It's free. It's for anybody.
Thank you. Thank you. So, well, tonight we're going to talk about human resources and following up on our goals. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So what we did, we talked about last time back on August the 18th, we had mentioned that we were going to go ahead and send a new staff survey out. Hindsight being that we probably should have done that when we actually met with the new staff during new teacher orientation. We had a captive audience, but we had a lot of things we had to go over with those folks. So we got 53 responses out of 133. So you're looking at 40%, but we wanted that they got to pick more than just one item here as to what brought you to Southwestern City Schools. And so I just thought there's really 3 main things that kind of hit on there. One, a supportive school culture was one thing they talked about. It was the main reason they came here. The diversity of our district, which we talk about every single time I stand at a podium, talk about the plus that we have with the diversity of our district, and the proximity to home, which I can relate to definitely of coming back to Southwestern and working here. Those are some main things that brought people to want to work in our district. So you can see that one. You go to the next slide, please. This was like, how would you rate Southwestern City Schools? And basically all those folks responded, there are 4s and 5s, with 5 people with 3s, the average, nothing down to 1s or 2s. And again, I go back to, we should have done this when we first brought them in that first orientation day. But when we sent this out, we asked them to look at it in terms of the onboarding process, not necessarily when you got here and then you got to your building and got moving on, but really the onboarding from our perspective of that office. Once we get you to sign that letter of intent, you go through all the paperwork, you come in, you meet with everybody, get things situated. That's what we ask people to take a look at. So there's some things in there, though there's just a lot of positives, but there are some negatives. And there's some things that I think you can always learn for. So I thought I would share some of those with you. I'll go with the positives first. First of all, people talked about the diversity and inclusion of our district. They talked about the district in regards to the diversity of our staff, our students, along with our commitment to a welcoming environment. They talked about support and the community, which we all know that. Talked about student focus, that our leadership seems to be focused on students all the time, which that should be your North Star, your guiding light. the professionalism and resources that were offered to applicants and how we dealt with them through the process. They really enjoyed that. And one that made me happy was the efficient application process, which caught me way off guard. Because one of the things we hear with our consortium with the ESC and our application, oh, it's always so cumbersome. But the people responding to this actually liked how quickly we got you in, it brought you in, got everything taken care of, and kind of got you set up. Now, things that we could have, that we can improve upon, and a lot of them dealt with the onboarding when they come to new teacher orientation, then when they go to the building. So what we did was we created a checklist for our certified staff, just like we had last year for classified. So when somebody shows up at any of our buildings in the district, we know that you're going to have the same exact requirements when you walk in that building, gone over by the principal, whether you're classified or certified, which actually addressed some of the things they're talking about, which of course was just logistical issues in regards to keys and fobs, talking about the scheduling issues they might have or other resources and who they report to, who they go to, mentors, all those sort of things, making sure those things are taken care of. So we definitely look at all those and definitely address those as we move forward with our hiring process going into the future. Well, we're not going to play the video, but that video is on our website, which is Evan and his team did a great job, and they did it last year for us too. As we brought the new teachers in for new teacher orientation, we said, come on over, let's do a video real quick, and let's go ahead and why'd you come here? And they're very honest and very transparent about why they came to Southwestern State Schools. And it's just great to see the passion in their voices and the fire in their eyes as they're excited to get started to work here. The new STAY survey is on there. That will be going out this quarter to our, so don't be surprised, go home. All right. So when we get it out there to those who've been here for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years plus, we're going to have to go out. We'll have principals select 5 to 7 people in their buildings to fill those out. Start getting some feedback as to you're here, why you stayed here, where things, again, positives, negatives, things we can take a look at and work on. Next slide, please. Again, we're full-blown recruitment season. You guys all know that. Lori's been all over the state already with the first round of visiting college campuses for their job fairs. We've had a Superior Job Fair down here at the Ladin Shrine Center. We've hosted our own transportation job fair here. I keep having the Scammy on here. We've had a lot of success with folks filling out that Google form, and we've got a lot of names to forward to people, particularly transportation specifically, to hopefully get people to become bus drivers in our district. I was able to speak to Kappa Phi Kappa, the Honor Society of Ohio State, last Monday night, which is about 55 of the honor kids in education. That was always a lot of fun doing that for quite a few years and enjoy doing that. And we do have success, and sometimes I have Dr. Lusher or Dr. Bowser in class, and they'll go ahead and point that out to me when I'm there. But everything here is, we've talked about the stuff in the past, and that last one there, relationship building, and I think Brian Over was a great example. He talked about love. First thing he said was love. And I think that's important that people recognize that working here, working in schools, education, the whole deal, it's a mission, it's a calling. You got to love what you do. You got to love those kids. And in our place, you got to love our community and love being here. And that's what we're looking for. And Brian's just a great example, and his staff, what they've been able to do at his school has just been just wonderful. A couple things that were added, and they're not on slides. A couple things I want to talk to you about. Obviously, retention. That's one of the things we take a look at and we talk about. So typically over the last 5 years, going back to 2021, we've been averaging a retention rate of about 93% every year of the staff that's hired. So about every year, you can look at it, it's been roughly around close to 7% goes for various reasons, whether it's resignation, retirement, or other. But it's right around that 93% in regards to the retention of our staff that sticks around over a 5-year period. Professional development, you heard Brian talk about in his presentation, which of course we have embedded professional development, but Aaron McCloskey does a great job of getting out a catalog to all of our staff of things they can do, things they can jump on and do during the school year. Obviously our summer academy in the summer and summer academy right before school starts, which of course this year was new in August, tying that into our new teacher orientation for 2 days to 3 days of that academy going along with this. People had a chance for 5 days of that professional development. Also, every 2 weeks, we get the curriculum flash, which in that curriculum flash, they have an update of things that we offer here locally. And then like this past week, we just, there's a cohort for people who want to become principals to Ohio Dominican. They're always updating things that they find out for folks to go ahead and get a jump on from a professional development standpoint, things that might interest them. And lastly, for advancement, we've talked about this thing every time I've spoken since I've walked here or since I've gotten here. We're a huge district, 21st employer in Central Ohio. 21,000 students, 3,500 employees. There's an opportunity for advancement in our district I don't care what side you're on. If you're a teacher, we offer support for you to join courts, go to administration, or if you want to go into counseling, you can jump from one building to another. Maybe I'm an IS this year. I have a behavioral classroom this year, but I want to do a different classroom next year. We have opportunities over the place here for folks to go ahead and jump and grow within our district. I'm a perfect example. Teacher to admin to be able to come back, and I've been able to grow within this district, and I love it absolutely. We also offer opportunities for a classified side. Dr. Lusher last year was able to work through that Inspire You with Western Governors University for classified staff who might want to become certified teachers. We worked with that for them, but we also have advancement there as well. You might come in at one level in a certain classification, have an opportunity to rise up into a higher level within that classification or jump to another. So we have many, many opportunities here for our folks. It's a great place to work. I went a little bit long, Dr. Lusher, but that's okay. So, any questions?
Questions? Just great job, great work. I did have note about the curriculum flash. So I'm glad that you brought that up. We always talk and we always hear folks talking in the district about we do such a great job at growing our students. And I think this just shows that we are really focused on growing our staff in this district too and providing opportunities for everyone. And I love that we have things like the curriculum flash and professional development days and all the things that we're doing to promote advancement and job opportunity for all of our staff and folks of the community. So thank you for that.
When we get you, we don't want to lose you. So, right.
I have a question. I know part of the rebranding and everything was to kind of help at these recruitment events and new hire events and things like that. Have you had anybody ask where the bell went? No, not yet. Or so are people like, are they recognizing you now as like your own district and not even like notice?
I mean, Lori's been doing a great job out there. We have some great swag for people that has their logo on it, which kind of worked
nice
out.
easy swag. Okay, that's good.
So,
that's good to hear.
proof of being the pudding come spring.
Yeah, in springtime. Okay, I know. I'm super excited. I love seeing it everywhere. I love how on last Tuesday at the band event where I had all of the logos for each group that was playing each high school. So it's really great. So I hope hopefully it's something that again with like the folks that were in the district and they see it, they're going to be like, wait a second, where's the bell? Where's the bell? Or you can show how it's all fun.
You going to talk about the bands tonight at all? There's the band's computer over the weekend. They all got once.
Oh, they did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that yet. That's exciting.
Not just the old football coach.
Good work, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Matt. We're gonna go on now. He was gonna give us a little update on the Finance Advisory Board.
President Boso, Vice President D'Angelo Steele, members of the board. It's my extreme pleasure to introduce a few of the members that are here in the meeting tonight. As you remember, back on August 18th at our Board of Education meeting, we decided to put the tenants together and agreed to move forward with a board goal of having a finance advisory board. So that was something that's been in the works for a while. So we went ahead and decided to do that. We set the application deadline for September 12th. Myself, Julie, and Camille screened and interviewed multiple people. And we feel really excited about the applicants that we found. And we chose 4 community members. We tried to get somebody from each attendance area. We are missing somebody from Franklin Heights on this first go around, but hopefully as the word gets out about this advisory board, we'll stir up some business over on Franklin Heights attendance area. So I asked the individuals to come and they can share a little note with you if they want, say something about themselves, but I'll just give a brief introduction to all of them. And if you want to raise your hand or stand up, first one I would like to point out was Haley Hall. There's Haley. Ms. Hall works as an operations manager for a registered investment advisory firm overseeing more than $300 million in assets under management. We think she's going to be a great member of this team, and she also lives in the Central Crossing attendance area. Next up is Alec Milam, in the back there. Alec lives in the Westland attendance area, has a bachelor's degree in finance from Ohio University. He also currently serves as the fiscal officer for Prairie Township, and he also runs the finances for a property management portfolio on the west side of the district. So knows a lot about the real estate on that side of town. Miss Jessica Williams. Miss Williams lives in the Grove City attendance area. Miss Williams has over 20 years experience in the financial services industry and is currently mortgage loan officer for Fifth Third Bank. She has real strong relationships with our realtors in town, so that's a good connection to get information out. Really, the goal of this group is to, build a bridge between the district, the board, and the community about where the money's coming from, where it goes, and how that all works. And I'm really excited about, I've been meeting with some of them individually already, just kind of going over a few things, and we have a meeting coming up here soon, probably in November is what we're tentatively looking at. So really excited about it. Does any of you three want to come up and say anything about yourselves?
Spot.
No pressure.
I'm not shy. Well, hello, I'm Jessica Williams, and I'm excited to be joining the committee, so thank you so much. By day, I do help families navigate the mortgage process and hopefully purchasing their first home. So spreadsheets and budgets, something I look at every day. By night, I am a soccer mom to two loud and very energetic boys in the district. And I'm here because I believe that financial decisions should be thoughtful and transparent. Plus, if I can make the mortgage process less painful, hopefully school finances can be fun, maybe. So I'm excited to learn more and get started. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is exciting. Are we gonna create like a entrance survey for this and a midway service? I'll look at Mr. Davo to feel like he's gonna create a QR code. We want to see how this committee works. I'm really excited. Thank you all for being a part of this inaugural committee for the board.
I'm very excited too. Thank you guys for all coming and sharing some time with us tonight.
Thank you so much. We'll move on now for items for action under fiscal and operations management with Mrs. Peterson.
All right, I have one item to bring forward. It is rescinding of students deemed impractical to transport. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the list of students previously deemed impractical to transport for the 2025-2026 school year be rescinded and for the Southwestern City Schools to provide transportation for these students. You're gonna see X1 in the executive content area, and this is due to confidential student information that is in there. After reviewing this item, I move it for passage.
Thank you, Mrs. Peterson. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Martindale. Roll call.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Mrs. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Moving on now to student and staff achievement with Mrs. Liskini.
Thank you, President Bosso. This evening, we just have one item under student achievement. And the final numbers have been published by the Ohio Department of Education, and wanted to share and say a congratulations to the Southwestern City School students for their outstanding academic achievements for the 2024-25 school year. We had a total of 598 students completed 760 AP exams with 66% earning scores of 3 or higher, saving families more than $825,000 in potential college credit costs. In addition, 969 students participated in College Credit Plus, earning 9,497 college credits and over $5 million in tuition savings, with 21 students earning their associate degree. Unbelievable. These accomplishments highlight our students' dedication and the district's continued commitment to academic excellence and college readiness. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're going to stay with you for students, schools, and community.
Wonderful. I have 4 action items this evening under student, school, and community. The first one is Franklin Heights High School Band and Orchestra to travel to Orlando, Florida, to perform and attend a Disney instrumental workshop. I think I want to go to that one. The trip is planned for March 18th through the 23rd, 2027, and students will miss 1 day of school. Trip expenses will be paid by students and parents, fundraising, and band boosters. Number 2 is Westland High School wrestling team to travel to Barnesville, Ohio. This trip is planned for December 19th and the 20th, 2025, and students will miss 1 day of school. Trip expenses will be paid by the wrestling athletic account. Number 3 is Central Crossing High School basketball team to travel to Logan, Ohio. The trip is planned for November 7th through the 9th of 2025, and students will miss 0 days of school. Trip expenses will be paid by the basketball athletic account. And number 4, Grove City High School NJROTC to travel to Parkersburg, West Virginia. The trip is planned for November 15th, 2025, and students will miss 0 days of school. Trip expenses will be paid by the NJROTC. After reviewing these items, I move them for approval.
Thank you so much. Can I get a second, please?
Second, Peterson.
Thank you, Mrs. Peterson. Roll call.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Mrs. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Moving on now for items for action under personnel with Mrs. Martindale.
Thank you, President Bosso. All right, so for tonight's board meeting, I have 2 personnel items involving 15 persons. This includes 1 certificated resignation and 14 certificated employments. And having reviewed these items, I do move them for action.
Thank you so much. Can I get a second, please?
Second, Liskini.
Thank you, Mrs. Liskini. Roll call.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Moving on now to items for discussion. I know we were discussing earlier about the safety and stuff. If somebody wants to discuss it, but I will start. Dr. Lesher, there's nobody up on this board that doesn't love what you're doing for our district and have the most confidence in the safety stuff that's going on with your team. I think there is a little bit communication error. We're all learning. I think on both sides, but I think after this, I mean, like I said, I don't want you to think we ever had a thought that you weren't doing the best job, you and your team. And I just want to thank you. So anybody else?
It sounds like we're saying though that we can take a pause on a request for Mr. Banks to do the search for the quotes, audit quotes. That was my original question.
Are you, oh, go ahead.
I'll just go ahead and jump in that we've already contacted 5 different companies and we have quotes that I will send to the board next week. I believe the original request was for that information to come in November. So we'll certainly put that out as well as some other options.
I think for myself, the best course of action is to review all of the information that was presented this evening and over the last year. You know, we haven't had all the information, now we do, and look at the options of what Mr. Banks is presenting and just see if there's anything that we're missing in terms of, you know, safety standards or, you know, that kind of a thing, and just do a comparison. And I think that we can each do that individually, do our own research and digging and come back together and have a discussion and decide if we want to move forward with it. But I think we need to do some work.
I mean, this isn't costing us any money to get quotes.
To get quotes.
And looking at things. Everybody all right with that? Any more discussion?
Yeah, I failed to mention the last person on our.
You know, I had 4 on there and I didn't
We
see
have
the
4.
4th.
The 4th is not here. The 4th is on a nice vacation right now.
All right.
But the 4th is Steve Morbitzer. Mr. Morbitzer lives in the Central Crossing attendance area, lived in the district his whole life. He's a former longtime employee of the district, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and experience. And believe me, he just a lot of good old common sense. He is a straight shooter, and look forward to seeing his perspective on this as well. So, Steve, I didn't mean to slight you, but you're on a nice vacation. I don't feel bad for you.
President Bosso, I just have one thing. I wanted to bring up the annual business meeting of the Ohio School Board Association Delegate Assembly is going to be held at the Greater Columbus Convention Center, the Union Station Ballroom on Monday, November 17th, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. As a delegate, I will be attending that meeting. I just wanted to make sure that everyone received an email from OSBA with the agenda and the information on there and just open it up if anybody wanted to discuss any of the agenda items or issues or concerns. There will be an election of the 2026 president-elect. Will take place that day. We'll hear platform amendments and then a resolution to amend the OSBA bylaws submitted by Toledo City Schools. So I didn't know if anybody had any issues with the things that were going to be, if you got the email, first of all, and if you didn't, you can contact Scott Clay's office at OSBA and get that information. If you have questions about it, you can get with him. You can get with Mr. Garside with any questions or concerns, and he can relay those to me, and I can look into that. So I just wanted to bring that up, that that's coming up during the OSBA conference, and make sure that everybody had that information.
I did.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Just want to make sure.
Anything else, ladies? All right, we're going to move on now. We're going to go into executive session. It's recommended the Board of Education adjourn an executive session in accordance with policy 0166 to discuss security arrangements, emergency response protocols for the school system, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee, and to prepare for the conduct or review of negotiating or bargaining sessions with public employees. Can I get a motion to go to the executive session? Thank you, Mrs. Martindale. Second.
Second, Peterson.
Thank you, Mrs. Peterson. Roll call.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. I do not expect any more business being discussed after executive session, but you're more than welcome to stay. Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a blessed evening.